Well, good afternoon. It's Thursday up here in Fort Mac, and I just kind of hanging out today, doing an interview on the phone, and boy, I tell you, there's so much about this internet stuff, like laptop stuff. I don't know how. I don't know how to do 90% of it. I know how to make videos. This is 404, I guess, and but I don't know how to edit them. And so if I screw up while I'm doing a video, I just delete the whole blessed thing and start over again. And that's kind of what I know how to do. And I I watch news. And when I was a kid, it was called current events, and in our family, not any conversation was allowed to go on when the news was happening, and on our old black and white TV when I was. A child, and I didn't get my first color television until 1970, and but I have been studying the inequity of the world's leading country, presumably, probably not for long, that being America. And I've been watching the politicians in both parties down there in the States, Democrats and the Republicans, and of course Trudeau up here. And I try not to watch Trudeau or hear a Biden interview shortly after I've eaten, because it just makes me sick, because it's kind of like a politician will say anything. It does not have to have even a hint or a semblance of truth. And and Biden is now diminishing his storage of emergency oil by 180 million barrels a day or something. It just so stupid, but they can't in the States. They can't do anything that will irritate. The Democrats won't do anything that will irritate their supporters with their major concerns, and that's the new Green Deal. That's global warming, and but a week ago or so, when Ukraine's right in the midst of the horrors of their children being killed, and Biden put forth the biggest concern he had was global warming. Well, that's just flat out stupid. I mean, you can't have people, innocent people, being killed, a country being destroyed, and we're concerned about global warming when the other competitors for significance in the world, that would be China, and Soviet Russia, and and they don't care about emissions, and they don't care about that at all. All they care about is their self-grandizement. And CCP, Xi Jinping in China, he is watching intently at the ineptitude of the politicians in the States who pretend that they care about the Ukrainian people, and they are so shocked that the Russians aren't fighting hard. I mean, they're not. And the reason is the average Russian soldier doesn't believe in what they're doing. And compared to the Ukrainian soldiers and people and everyone else, about about maybe a month ago, shortly after the war started, um, I put a plea out there for any professional soldiers that could go and help in the Ukraine. And well, I'm sure it didn't make any difference that I called for it, but boy, a lot of people, we could call them mercenaries from around the world, showed up in the Ukraine to fight for the Ukrainian people, to train, to teach, instruct, demonstrate, show what and a military man and or woman could do who had been trained. And I was so pleased that so many people were helping. And then I watched Olena Guinness, little girl with three babies, hiding out in a shelter. And I mean, she just had more guts than Biden or the average politician ever would have. And the reason I use the word descriptive term average politician is Donald Trump down there, no one would have invaded any country in the world while Trump was in power, because people were so afraid of him. They did not know what he would do. And I'm not sure that Donald knew what he would do, but he would do something. And Biden, President of the United States of America, pretends to help. NATO countries over there in Europe, they are pretending to help, and they are in many ways. They are giving the Ukrainian people part of what the Ukrainian people have asked for, the Ukrainian government, and but only in part, and not in a timely manner. And on Fox News, I find Fox News probably is the best that I've seen, giving the fairest outlook, reflections of what's really going on in the Ukraine. And I think it's Zelensky, president of Ukraine. He's just there, and he's not leaving, and neither are his people giving up. Mariupol scared me back about 2 weeks ago, maybe perhaps a week ago, and I thought Mariupol, they're going to be obliterated, because when Putin can't win in a fair fight, he does no longer bother pretending to be fair. Instead, he will do everything in his power to save his own life. There's a penalty in Russia for failure. That penalty is the forfeiting of your life. And Putin is just holding on, and that's all. And the problem with that is this: you don't know what Putin is going to do. The same way the countries of the world, they did not know what Trump was going to do. But Putin, will he use chemical weapons? He's used them before. Will he finally do a regionalized atomic and nuclear thing? People say he won't do that, but he does not care. He does not care. You and I, we have some semblance of a conscience, and mine works really well. Putin, I question, has a conscience, because he is so inundated with his own significance, and he wants to go down in history as being the one who restored and put back in place the significance of the USSR, Soviet Russia. And he will do that at any cost because the Ukrainian people, they're fighting for their very existence. They are fighting for their lives, and they're fighting for their country, and they believe in their country. They don't believe in their politicians that much because a lot of money flowed out of the Ukraine into the Biden family down in the States. And it did. And of course it was hidden and it was covered up and all that stuff, and it was Russia, Russia, Russia. Well, a lot of money went to the Biden family from Russia and from China. So when you listen and you have a stronger stomach than I do, if you can handle listening to the aged one down there, Joe Biden, and his pure, unadulterated lies about everything, because he just believes that all the economic troubles in the world are a result of global warming, Putin, Xi Jinping. And Biden says, we'll get you help. He tells the Ukrainian people, we'll get you help. But he will. But it won't be as much help as Ukrainian people truly need. And it won't be delivered in a timely manner. In the States, they talk about how many billions of dollars they're going to make available to the Ukrainian people to help rebuild, help equip, help. But the United States of America is still, at this juncture, buying oil from Soviet Russia to the tune of $27 million a day. But the inequity of having a political agenda that dictates how and what you can do as a country in the world, in the States, they're sitting on natural gas, they're sitting on oil through fracking. They just have such a wealth of fossil fuels. But the Democratic Party in the States, they won't use them. They do everything in their power to destroy the oil companies, everything, because the only way the global warming people, the Democrats in the States, a lot of liberals up here, Trudeau, they don't want to develop fossil fuel. They want to develop the new Green Deal, electric cars, wind, solar, all of which is good, but none of which can take the place of fossil fuels. Musk down in the States, the one who makes the electric cars, he says, you have to open the United States of America's self supply of oil, because you can't get it from around the world. And people do not respect Joe Biden because he is so blessed old. I'm a tiny bit sensitive about old, but Joe Biden is walking in what almost appears to be dementia, except he is getting done the things necessary to fulfill what he said about 2 weeks ago, which is the new world order. In order for there to be a new world order, the old world order has to die. And that's what Joe has been trying to do down there. Quite successfully, I might add. Okay, First video of the day, I probably said too much. Pray for the Ukraine. Pray for the people in Soviet Russia who, if they protest, go to jail. If they protest, they can get up to 15 years. Pray for that Christine Anderson from Germany and another wonderful chap from Croatia who gave Trudeau a real hard time just about a week ago. And they asked our Prime Minister to remove himself from the NATO meetings that were going on. They asked him to do them a service and to leave. They said that Trudeau had no right to even speak at that NATO meeting because of how he, Trudeau, had treated the Canadian Freedom Convoy and put many of them in jail and denigrated them. Okay, not too much, a little bit too much. Okay, pray, eh?